Well, howdy folks, welcome to this week's show. We're out here at the Buck and Bass Ranch. Luke's going to join us here in a little bit. He's cooking something up for us here, but we're here at the Buck and Bass Ranch, and really I want to take a little bit of time today to talk about what to look for when either buying land or leasing land. In this particular case, I own this property, but I just kind of want to show you what I've got going on here and what I looked for when it came to purchasing land. I bought land for one reason only, for outdoor experience, fishing, hunting, camping, just all of the fun stuff that goes in the outdoors with just, raw land. So as you can see, I've got pine trees growing here, so I do plant trees. I've got an orchard here behind me. Both Luke and I love to hog hunt, so this is the kind of stuff we're looking for. So stick with me. Let's just go right around a little bit. I want to show you a few spots, what I really looked for when it came to me personally buying a piece of ground. So welcome to the Buck and Bass Ranch. Let's take a tour. Okay folks, our first stop here at the Buck and Bass Ranch is we've got water here. So water is very important. I don't care if you're looking for land. If you have water on that land, that is a benefit. Animals go to water, they need water to drink just like you and I need water to drink. So that was one of the first things I looked for. But before I really go into that, I just want to touch base on geographic location. The one thing nice about this place is we're about 15 minutes from Sulphur Springs, Texas. So, there's not a ton of winding roads back in here. It's just one road that really kind of comes back into this desolate little place back in here. The road ends, so I'm at the end of the road, which is kind of nice. So I don't have people coming in and out of here. It's all quiet back in here. But again, water's the first thing. We're going to run down. I'm going to show you the creek and show you what we've got going on down there. Excellent fishing. This here is stocked with hybrid bluegill. We do have a few little catfish in here, but it's a very small pond, so it doesn't yield a lot of fish. But we've caught a few bass out of here as well. So, all right, we're gonna sneak on. And we're gonna go look at some other areas and kind of help you guys, and maybe when you're looking for a piece of land, and maybe give you some tips and some ideas of what to look for. Okay, folks, and welcome back. For those of you who regularly follow Luke and I, you've probably seen this. This is down here at the creek. So we've got a creek that runs through the property. And again, having water on the property and any property that you're looking for really is an asset to everything. It brings wildlife in. It gives you the ability to fish. I have a waterway that takes me out to Lake Fork, which is kind of nice. And it's very quiet back in here. So we'll walk down, we'll take a look a little bit closer at my little setup down here, and we'll venture on. So folks, as you can see here, we've got a little camp set up here. We can fry up some fish when we're down here fishing the creek. And we've put a dock in here. We've replaced an old dock that was here many years ago, but we can walk up and take a look at this real quick. As you can see, we've got significant water in here and the ability to fish. And believe me, folks, when spawning starts, those fish will make their way up into this creek and we will catch the daylights out of them. So again, if you're looking for property that has water like this, I highly suggest that move that to the top of your list. Water is absolutely the lifeblood of property. All right, folks, let's wander on. We've taken a look here at the dock, down here at the creek. So we're going to go look at some other things that I was looking for when I bought this land. So again, for me, it's all about hunting and fishing in the outdoors. So that's obviously what I'm looking for. I wanted to find a place where it was thick, where there will be hogs, where there's some areas where you could put food plots in and attract deer, and again, just have a great time out here in the outdoors. So we're going to venture on. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this commercial message.
Well, friends, I want to show you what I use for night hunting. This is the Wraith by Sightmark. It's a digital, it's not thermal, but you can use it for daytime hunting. It has a color mode. It's color during the day, and at nighttime for shooting hogs and predators out to, I've killed them out to 125 yards, but I sight in for that distance. You could shoot them a lot farther. Go online to learn more about the Wraith. You can go to sightmark.com and check them out. Absolutely awesome hunting tool for day or night. Well, folks, it is Luke Clayton, and I want to show you something right here that I am very, very proud of. My gearhead bow. I've taken a couple of hogs with it, and I'm deer hunting. I'm down at the Bucking Bass Ranch at a buddy of mine's, and I'm going to be deer hunting. Let me show you something here. Now, this is the coolest thing in the world, and I am the first time I have ever shot a bow with a shoot-through riser. I'm going to look right at you here. There's a riser here. There's a riser here. Look at the arrow on this gearhead bow, right in the middle. And if you think that doesn't make a difference, for many, many years, me and I guess every other bow hunter been shooting one side of the riser or the other. This thing shoots straight through. Folks, check them out online. This is the bow that I hunt with, and I've got a lot. I love it. Lots of confidence in it. GearheadArchery.com.
Okay, folks, we are leaving kind of the high ground, if you will, and we are heading downhill. So one of the things this property has is a ridge line that runs the entire length of the property. And this terrain change, as you see here, this hillside, if you will, animals walk that exclusively. So I've got blinds. Matter of fact, there's a blind right smack in front of me here, if you'll see, and a feeder right there. But we strategically put these feeders in areas right here in both the top, the center part of the hillside, and then the bottom down here. So this one's right here is at the bottom of the hillside. But as you can see behind that feeder, how thick it is. We're going to drive up in here and we're going to show you how thick it really is. This is prime area for hogs. They love thick cover. They feel comfortable coming out and coming to feeders right at dusk. So great time to shoot hogs. All right, we're going to mosey on here. This road that we're on goes right along the bottom or the lower part of the ridge line all the way through the entire length of the property. So we're just on our electric buggy here and we're just kind of moving along, but as you can see, it's just a lot of hardwoods and a hillside. It's just a gradual sloping hillside. As you can see, again, we're just cutting through the woods here, and it's very, very thick. But what's nice is we have the ability to navigate through the woods with these roads that have been put in. And that's another thing. When you're looking for property, access to areas, being able to get to stuff. And if there's already roads there, that's great. If you have to put them in, that's work, I promise you. So we're going to take a turn right here, kind of go back up this little ridge line a little bit, And as you see here, we're going to come to an open field. And having an open field like this is a benefit too, because you can plant trees, you can leave it just pasture land, you can make it a food plot. You do whatever you want to do, you know, to track the game and animals that you're looking for. So at this point in time, we had this food plot at one time, but we've since moved it. So having said that, let's go take a look at a food plot. All right, we're moseying on here, and we are coming through the woods and coming out to one of 3 food plots that we have at the ranch here. So let's just stop and take a peek here. Okay folks, here we are. This is one of 3 food plots here at the Buck and Bass Ranch, and as you can see, everything's chewed down pretty much. So we're late in the season. We're already into February, but we've got oats in here that have been chewed down. But this is a great, something you definitely want to look for, or if you have the ability, if you have some area of cleared land in the land that you're purchasing or looking to lease, where you can till it and you can plant seed. Because this, folks, brings in deer, hogs, everything. All animals will come into this food plot. I've got trail cam pictures of animals in here every single night. So this is something you want to look for. If you have the ability to put a food plot in like this, high benefit, high yield for bringing in deer, especially. If you want to shoot a big buck, right here, this is what you got to have. Okay, we are now at an area where it's got some open little spaces in here, if you will, and we've got a couple feeders set up. So setting yourself up with situations like this, where this here is a drive-in, I call it the buggy blinds. We drive our buggy right in there, and you can hunt right from there. You're watching 2 feeders. So setups like this is what you want to do on the property. So we've got some thick ground straight ahead of us, and then to our left here we've got a feeder and the hill, and then of course there's a food plot up at the top of that hill that we were just at. And so breaks in the terrain like this hillside and this food plots and open areas like this really make for some great setups for hunting. And don't overlook big trees. If you got really big trees, you can put ladder stands in and those type things. So okay, venture on to the east side of the property. We've been kind of hanging around on the west side of the property here, and anyway, let's mosey on and look at the east side, and we'll cover some stuff over there. Okay, we don't want to overlook this one very important thing. As you can see, there's a feeder straight ahead. I'll zoom in, and you can see behind that feeder is a box blind. And what you want to look for is an area where you have the ability to shoot a pretty good distance. From that box blind to where I am right about now is probably right at 200 yards, maybe just shy of 200 yards. But having a long distance shooting lane like this allows you to, I corn this road, and you get hogs and deer come out on this road very, very frequently, and you have a long shot. So something else to consider when looking for land is, do you have the ability to make, you know, a 200-yard shot? Now, I will tell you this, folks, this is probably one of the only places that I have that has a shot that's this long. Most of my shots are, geez, you know, probably less than 40 yards. Of course, I bow hunt a lot, so my setups are a lot for bow hunting. But if you're an avid rifle hunter, then, you know, maybe you want to find a place that has a lot more of this kind of thing, where you've got long shooting lanes or senderos. Okay, we are heading east. As we're going along here, I just noticed something that I wanted to mention. Note the type of trees that are on the property. Different trees will do different things. Obviously, a lot of cedar, as you can see behind me there, makes it a little bit thick. But if you've got like oak trees, which we have one right straight in front of us here, you'll get a good acorn crop. This year had a great acorn crop, and acorns bring in animals. So don't discount that. Look at what kind of trees are on your property, and that might help you make a decision on whether it's the right place for you. Okay folks, now as you can see, we're slowly heading toward the east side of the property here, and it's a lot more of the same hardwoods, pine trees, and of course a nice road that takes us through all of this so we can navigate around the property. I have a perimeter road that runs around the entire property that I have here, and that makes for great access to different parts of the property. So keep that in mind when you're looking for that. Do you have a perimeter road? Is there a way to get around and get to all different parts of the property, or do you have to navigate in by foot? We use, like I said, use electric buggies around here, and it's nice to be able to get back and get hogs out of the woods once you've harvested one, or just get to different areas with ease. So we're just about to turn the corner here, and we're going to head kind of again almost toward bottomlands, kind of in a downward position here, or downhill, if you will. And let's go take a look at what this bottomlands looks like. Now, before we get going much further here, I want to stop here and talk a little bit about something. As you can see here, we do have a road down the east side of the property, and yeah, you might get a 50, 75 yard shot down here, but one thing I want to note, when you're buying land, like when I bought this land, the nice thing about it is I had the ability to lease. The Sabine River Authority has the floodplain all around Lake Fork, and with the ability of being able to lease that, it gives me control of all of the land, so I can hunt it, post it, whatever. It's, you know, it's yours to hunt. There are some regulations. You can't remove big trees and all that kind of stuff, you know, but you really don't need to. It's thick down here. There's lots and lots and lots of place for animals to hide, and we've got stands set up throughout the property here. So let's scoot on down here. This will end up at the creek again, so we'll make our way down that way and take a look. See here, we just put a blind up here earlier today. We had a blind in a tree straight ahead that a limb came down and took it out. So safety, always got to make sure that your blinds are safe. So as you can see, the one in the tree here, it's kind of hard to see, but because the sun's there, but you can see there's a disaster going on there, so it was all tore apart. So we actually put a blind in. As you can see, there's one over there. We got our feeder right here. Lots and lots of hog activity going on here. Okay, so we're gonna head down to the creek, I guess, and we'll just show you a little bit further down into this bottomland. But again, bottomlands, you know, I'm paying a lease fee for this to have this, but it isn't very much money, I can tell you that. So having the ability to have lease back along with your property, golden. Love it. This is where the animals are. You can just take a look out there and you can just tell, you know, animals are here. They're thick. I mean, they are coming into this feeder. Now, albeit there's water in there, but those hogs do not mind. They go right in that water. And I mean, this thing has been hit so hard. So it just needs to be hunted. Well, folks, as you see, we're here again at the creek. We're at the east side of the creek. Earlier we were at the west side, but this water runs through here and great fishing. So the ability to have this here with property like this, again, it adds great value because of the fact that you do have the ability to fish. You'll bring animals in here. Hogs and deer love this stuff. They drink out of this stuff every day. So as you can see, the bottomlands are very thick down in here, and lots of animals move through here. So there you have it. I just thought I'd try to give you a few tips on what I looked for when I bought this property, and the ability to set it up for what I want to do. And of course, Luke and I, we do a lot of hunting, a lot of fishing, and we film everything. So this is our little filming haven. So I've really kind of what I set it up for is the ability to come out here, self-film hunts, have some success because there's no pressure out here on a place like this. And I was looking for something that would give me the ability to hunt, fish, and put together videos like this for you folks. So I hope you enjoyed our little outdoor segment here. We're going to go check in with Luke, see what he's got going on. I know he's cooking up a storm. So, Luke, I'm turning it over to you, buddy.
Folks, as an old outdoors writer, I have used lots of products. Smoking Tex electric smokers, the best smokers that you can find. This is Diz and this is Scott, my buddies. Diz, tell them how they can learn more about Smoking Tex.
Yeah, obviously the #1 source of information is going to be our website. It's got hundreds of recipes, it's got helpful guides, it's got all of our models and our accessories listed there. Of course, we have a phone number, 888-922-1511, and we'll actually answer our own phones.
That's true. And Diz, the main thing, the easy way, smokingtex.com. You can learn all about it.
Correct. And of course, we're on all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, etc. So take a look at us whenever you can, and whatever social media you'd like, and we look forward to working with you.
Hi folks, it's your old buddy Luke Clayton, and this ain't your grandpa's pump-up air gun. This is the Texan, made by Air Force Air Guns, and it's the most powerful production air gun in the world. A few years ago I started shooting these, when they first came out. I actually had a chance to test. They didn't really need any testing, but to shoot one of the 10 prototypes when it first came out. Now this is the improved model. This tank pressures up to 3,625 psi. This gun will develop, I believe it's 750 foot-pounds of energy shooting a 520 grain bullet. So this is your big daddy of air guns. If you want to get into hunting or shooting air guns, you know, you don't have to shoot a 520 grain bullet. I shoot a Nielsen specialty ammo bullet that's, I think it's 340 grains. But here you go. Check these out online. You can go to airforceairguns.com and check them out. But this is the one I've hunted with a lot. I've probably killed 30 hogs and a bunch of exotics, and I'm going to get after the deer here in Texas this year with it. airforceairguns.com.
Folks, here's our ingredients all written down. 1 1/4 cups of flour, 1/2 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of cooking oil, olive oil works, any kind of cooking oil, 1 teaspoon of yeast, a teaspoon of salt, and sugar if you like it. I put about 3 tablespoons of sugar in mine.
Well, folks, from here on, our process is very easy. We just simply put the flatbread on the skillet. You could be using a flat iron, whatever you're cooking with, a Dutch kettle for that matter, but just brown it on both sides. And I say brown it, you actually will have little streaks of black when you really cook it out. Now, I bet you the old mountain men probably had some bear fat, bear grease or something in there, but we're just cooking this honestly without any cooking oil. But it wouldn't hurt if you had just a little bit of cooking oil, maybe even a little bit of lard, but this won't stick. We'll flip it over and it'll be just toasted on both sides. Try this at home. I think you'd really enjoy it. Okay, folks, we have just put our piece of flatbread in a skillet. You'll see it beginning to bubble up a little bit. We're going to let it cook about a minute on each side on low heat. Then we're going to turn it. This makes some of the best bread you can imagine for sandwiches, or actually just any way that you'd need bread. This flatbread is really good. So we'll let it cook just a bit, then we'll give it a turn. Okay, we give it about a minute on one side, and then we give it a flip. You can see the smoke coming off. Sometimes the flour on top will scorch that's laying on top of the skillet, but we're just about ready to have our first piece of flatbread ready to eat. And here we go, folks, golden brown. Let's put another piece in and get it cooking. Okay, friends, here is our second piece of flatbread in the old skillet. We'll let it cook about a minute. You'll see it here in just a little bit begin to smoke a little bit. We'll flip it, and I'm not kidding you, this is, well, especially in these days when sometimes it's a little difficult to get bread, this stuff here, you can make a bunch of it up and stack it up, put it in a Ziploc bag, take it on a hunting or fishing trip with you, or just eat it around the house. It's really, really good. Makes great sandwiches. But folks, it really doesn't get much easier than this. These may not be perfectly round, but I guarantee you they'll be perfectly tasty.
you can do so much with flatbread, and it's really, the flavor to me is way better than light bread that you can get. But you know, you could actually, I guess that's why the old trappers and woodsmen always made flatbread. It was easy to do, easy to keep, and you can make it up in a batch of it in 20 minutes, you know. Let's flip this over and take a look at it. Just perfect. We're going to have 4 nice pieces of flatbread, enough to make with some beans. You could put barbecue on this stuff. Eat it any way you want to. It's about time to flip this, so this will be our 3rd piece. Folks, remember that recipe is 1 1/4 cups of flour, 1/2 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of oil. That can be cooking oil, whatever you like. 1 teaspoon of yeast, a little salt, and I like to put some sugar in it. It makes it a lot better. You can see this puffing up, just about ready to turn. Better give it a flip here. Add a little black spot on there. May look like it's burned a little bit, but there's really no, it doesn't hamper the flavor whatsoever. This is going to make some great sandwiches, or actually I'm going to have it with a big pot of pinto beans. And friends, here's our finished product. You can do a whole lot with this flatbread. Make sandwiches out of it. You can, gosh, you could put sugar on that and some honey and eat it just like it is. But it makes great bread. I'm going to have this with a big pot of pinto beans and a fresh yellow onion. So I hope you enjoyed our little show today. It's something different. Right now it's probably a thing that many of you might want to give a try to. You know, it's kind of hard sometimes to go to the store and grab a loaf of bread. Make your own. We might go back over in a show again the baking the loaves of bread in the Dutch kettle. But if you look back on the show 2 or 3 weeks ago, you can see that and rerun it and catch up on that. But in times that we're living right now, it's pretty handy to be able to make your own bread. And here we go. We're going to dive in.
Well, folks, thanks again for joining us here. What another great adventure, huh, my friend?
I had a blast doing this week's show, but we always have a blast bringing the shows to you.
We do. You know, every week, Luke and I just come up with these fun and exciting things to do, and we love to bring this stuff to you guys. And believe you me, we have fun doing this stuff. I mean, it's just, being in the outdoors. Look at this, an absolute gorgeous day. You know, we've got the evening ready. You know, we're going to do a hunt this evening, so we're headed back out. But
it's work for a future show. Our job is never done.
Our job is never done. Exactly. That's kind of my point. So.
No, it's been and thank all of you for being with us. We take time to thank you every week, but we really do appreciate it.
We do.
Always remember catfishradio.org, the radio show that I do each week that Jeff puts on the website. You can always go there, and Larry, our buddy Larry Weissoon's with me every week, and that's also fun. So catfishradio.org, you can download those segments and listen to them.
Exactly. Get your weekly fix of outdoors right here, folks.
We have an outdoor overload every now and then,
yes,
so
we do.
We have to share it with you. But thank you a lot for joining us.
Yes, and please like and share us, and we'll see you next week on A Sportsman's Life.
You betcha, we'll be right here.